You want to see some incredible mold making? This is a miniature mold to make a dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. And we're gonna make it. Except maybe not. Today we're probably gonna fail. But we're gonna try anyway. See, here's my problem. No, clean casts need a pressure pot most of the time. So that's gonna fail. This is the pot of my vacuum chamber. This is a bloody hat. And I have no idea how to even begin to secure these big silicon chunks together. You're probably wondering why this is so dirty, huh? This actually came from Viv's warehouse's backyard when he moved in. Viv from Knights of Dice. Freaking caught red-handed.
It's such a nice feeling when you peel the silicon off. You see a new mold in there.
And it was buried in the backyard, 2 molds, which is sort of ominous, a little bit cursed maybe. And in the process of Viv discovering what was inside, he cast the dragon in metal, in white metal, steaming hot metal, which ruined the guts of the inside of this mold. So the 2 pieces don't really lock together as much because all the little fine edges have sort of been burned away. The odds are really against me. But we're gonna do it anyway. A vacuum chamber would really help with this molding and casting process, because when you pour the resin in, the vacuum pulls all the air out and gets the big bubbles out. I'm thinking because I've actually secured this, maybe this might be airtight, so we should try. So this normally goes on here and makes a vacuum, but if we just put it on this hole, my gauge here is broken. I don't actually know how much vacuum I'm pulling, but there's something. I don't know if it's a lot. I don't know if it's enough. I get a lot of questions about the resins and silicons I use. This is Mold Max 30. This is a silicon that will cure on just about anything. This is Smoothcast 321. The 300 series has a whole bunch of variants, and basically buy it based on how long your pot life is, and then as a result, how long your demolding time is. This one's got a pot life of like 7, 9-ish minutes, and a demolding time of about 30 minutes. Otherwise, if you want to demold things faster, your pot life really shrinks to about 3-5 minutes. This is the 325 variant of it, and this is like a clear resin that's highly tintable. This is why I use these fluorescent pigments, and that's how I did my crazy demons, right? And then this is alien clay. I've never used it before, but I was trying to buy monster clay, and this is all that was sort of available locally to me. This stuff comes in, it smells like monster clay. It must just be the same sort of stuff. But basically, it's a clay that doesn't set, and you have to make a mold and a cast of whatever you make in order to make a permanent copy of what you sculpt. It's really temperature sensitive, so you can heat it up and it turns into a liquid, or you can put it in the freezer and you can chip away at it. Pretty cool. Let's make a dragon. Don't buy stuff based on what I use, because that's why I started using Smooth On stuff, because my heroes use Smooth On, but you know, they've all got brand endorsements and things like that. They're not paying me bugger all. Going to take like half an hour before we can demold it, so I'm going for a coffee and then I'll be back. Alright, back from my coffee now, or something later, and this should be cured. I don't know how my pump is. Bugger. Yeah, so what happened was, when I was trying to suck out the air from the mold, all the resin went through the tube and absolutely rooted my pump. Ideally, what I should have done is had sort of like a PVC pipe or something here that this could have sat on. You know, we can't be afraid of failure, otherwise we won't make cool things. We're experimenting. Things are gonna fail. We're gonna do dumb things. Part of making stuff is making mistakes, you know? And I made a bloody mistake with that pump. But if I was afraid to do something a bit weird, we wouldn't have anything at all at the end of the day. Okay. Oh, that's not actually too bad. Oh yeah? Okay. Yep, that's how that should work. Come on, you bastard. Look at this. Look. Oh yeah. So we've got to get this out. Don't want to rip this very old silicone. To get this tail out, we've got to pull this apart. Interesting. There we go. Wow. You know, that's a bloody rough cast, but I see potential. Check this out. Ta-da! Now it's still pretty far from perfect. Few missing horns, missing scales, bit lumpy, things are broken, missing toenails, but I'm pretty happy with how it's cleaned up so far. Sculpting tomorrow, I think, but for now, little nap. Little sleepy time. Hello, look at this. You know, I've actually been sitting on this dragon mold for quite a while now. I brought it home from Viv's and I put it in my pressure pot and I realized it wouldn't fit. And I thought, you know, this can wait until I can do it properly, which sounds ridiculous because it's a very sort of silly looking dragon. And yesterday I had a thought that, you know, I've said that sort of thing a lot in my hobby recently. I'm gonna wait until this. Like, I'm gonna wait until I'm a better painter or a better converter or when I have more stuff to release that thing. But I can't think like that. I just gotta start doing things even if the result isn't going to be perfect. Because at the end of the day, making this, turning it into a bit of a restoration project has been kind of fun. You know, I've got to sit down and copy this artist's style, think how they thought, and you know, get close to this original model in a way that I could have never expected to, you know? This is all really silly. Look at that bloody face. You know, I'm taking this quite seriously for a face that looks like that. But the thing is, you know, I might as well start now. Because, look, I would love a perfect cast of this dragon with the right materials and tools and time and experience. But if I do this right now, in 10 years, I'm going to be better prepared to do something for this little dumb dragon face. I think my dragon needs a base, and I found this one, but it's a little bit too small. So maybe if we dig this one. This needs texture though. And while I was visiting Viv's, I nicked something from him. Hang on. Okay. Okay. Not this. This is for later. Yes. While I was at Viv's, I found this texture plate from Wargames Bakery. I don't know if this still exists anymore. I don't know when Viv bought this, and I think the idea is that you put green stuff or Milliput on there and you put your base. This little clump of Milliput sort of tells me I shouldn't use Milliput, right? That's stuck in there. I do sort of like knowing why I shouldn't do things though. And Milliput is much cheaper. Let's try Milliput. If we... It does like to stick to it. Will water fix it? Water makes it a lot less sticky. I don't think I want to use this much Milliput on this big of a base, but we do have clay. Lots of water. Not a bad result. I've just been trying to clean this. I feel like this isn't really designed for clay. I think because of how deep these recesses are, it's got to be used for green stuff. Green stuff is very different to Milliput or clay because when it dries, it turns into sort of like a rubber. And I'm thinking with how deep these voids are, something rubbery is the only thing that's gonna get out of them, not gonna get hooked and caught in the sides. Yeah, okay, that's quite good. Now, to make bases, I find that green stuff really isn't economical, like at all. I pay quite a lot for my green stuff because I buy it locally, so we should experiment with other alternatives. Maybe Sculpey. That works quite nicely. Just chuck that in the oven and we can attach that to a base. Okay, what about Monster Clay? Monster Clay works pretty good. Monster Clay doesn't set, so we'd have to take a mold of this, but we can reuse it over and over and over again. Could be quite... The power's gone out in my studio, which is kind of creepy. It's like 1 AM, so this might have to wait till tomorrow, but I am gonna bring you with me in case there's murderers waiting outside. Okay. Oh, fuck, this is so creepy in the middle of the night. I think the gates are working. Oh, must be a bunch of our city's gone out.
You feeling good?
Shit. Ah, okay. I came back to this base this morning and it was looking really good, had some cracks in it, but it turned out great. But it was still a little bit damp. I put it outside and it bloody rained. It turned from a very nice day to a bad day very quickly. It happens, it happens. 7th of May today. I've spent the last couple of days fulfilling, sorting out different orders from weird little toads. Oh, that one's cool. I like the colours. To finishing off the funnel, plants nowhere to be found, Kickstarter stuff, and I think it's time I show you. I have grown so much in this episode, I realize I'm carrying very heavy things. This is 11.2 kilograms of pure lead. Wow, look at that. Look at these. So yeah, I've been in Melbourne once again working with my friend Viv, producing metal models. I don't know when these are gonna come out, but the reception to them was overwhelming and I realized, you know, I've just gotta do it. Look, I would be lying if I was to tell you that things went entirely smoothly because I was actually there to cast a second set of models. A whole 12 more models designed with Tina Fieldling. We created a bunch more heroes and weird creatures to cast in metal. This is a 3D print of one of the models that will eventually be turned into metal. Now, 3D prints can be quite brittle. When you are making a metal mold, you have 2 plates of silicon and you warm them up and then you put your models in between.
Oh, she's hot.
And you push them together with immense heat, immense pressure. After it's cooked long enough, you should be able to separate it. The models inside will be totally destroyed, but you'll have a perfect void in order to shoot metal into. Unfortunately, a lot of the models in this crushing process actually broke. It meant that probably 2/3 of our mold is unusable. Viv, what happened to the mold we made yesterday?
Do we have to talk about it?
Yeah, I think that's enough. In this, we lose a lot of time because it takes a lot of time to 3D print these models. It takes a lot of time to re-sculpt on top of them. And then it takes time to make the mold itself. And then the actual molding process can be quite costly. The awesome part of metal miniatures is you can throw the miniatures that don't cast correctly back in the pot and reuse that metal because metal is really, really expensive to cast with. And when our mold failed, I said to Viv, don't throw these miscast models away because I think we should give away a miscast model with every order because, you know, it's important to embrace our mistakes and our learning and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, I'm a hobbyist, Viv's a hobbyist, and the people buying my stuff are hobbyists. So our base is dried with some tremendous cracks in it, but honestly, kind of cool. Fuck. You know, I really think this could use a rider, right? Right there. Wait. This is a Marauder, maybe? Chaos Marauder? Yeah, maybe? These are from Smash Bash. This is a good head, right? You know, I bloody love metal miniatures so much. And, you know, that's why it was really important to try to make my own. I really like working with Viv because he likes to experiment. And metal casting is a really, really traditional thing. You know, so much of the knowledge about metal casting is behind lock and key. You know, you have to be in the families of people doing it. You know, a lot of metal casting companies will flat out refuse to do anything 3D printed because it's so risky, because it breaks. The things that happen to Viv could happen to anyone else. There's a bunch of ways that you can turn a 3D printed model into something ready to be cast by one of these companies. But typically it's very expensive and takes a lot of skill. You might do like a loss casting, like 3D print something and then make a high temperature silicon mold of it, burn it out and pour pewter inside of that. And then you have a master that you can take to a company. But the thing is that if we can cut out that middle step, if we can get things to cast by experimenting, and I know that we can, it makes metal casting accessible for us. But yeah, we gotta fiddle around and we gotta work things out and troubleshoot and you know, that's a lot of bloody work sometimes. And you know, I think an example of this is in the last episode, I was printing hexagonal bases. And I was printing them flat on the build plate. And all the comments said, don't do that. You have to be printing at 45-degree angles. The thing is though, if I can get it to print flat on that build plate, I'll have less cleanup and I can print in a third of the time. The bases we're printing with a little bit of a lip on the bottom of them. And I think that's because I expose these areas much longer to get them to adhere to the build plate. That is a variable I understand. I also 3D printed these bases on a 45-degree angle, and this was printed on a much more expensive 6K 3D printer. And the thing is that if you look at the top, it's a little bit hard to see because my bloody fingers are in the way, but it's sort of egg-shaped. It's not perfectly round. And so that's another problem I have to work out, properly supporting this while keeping a nice clean bottom so I can easily cast it. I understand that the rule is you always print things at a 45-degree to reduce suction and stuff like that. But I think breaking rules can be just as important as following them sometimes, because if I can save time, it means I can make more bases, more masters, and if I can work out how to print those bases really well on a really shitty 3D printer, it means that I can make 3D printable accessible to more people. This is probably a dumb idea. Now that I've restored this dragon, I think it's my responsibility to now make it mine. So we're gonna make this a dragon of chaos / a vampiric dragon. You want a reveal shot?